The ruins of Aureliana had stood in silence for nearly 2,000 years. Once a thriving Roman city, it had vanished from historical records overnight, leaving behind only crumbling marble columns, shattered statues, and the remnants of an empire lost to time. No one knew what had happened to its people. There was no record of war, no evidence of fire, and no signs of natural disaster. It was as if the city had simply been swallowed by the earth. Legends surrounded Aureliana like a thick mist. The local villagers, whose ancestors had once served the mighty Romans, refused to step foot within its ruins. They spoke of a terrible curse, a wrath of the gods that had frozen the city in time. Some claimed they had heard whispers carried by the wind at night, voices of the long-dead Romans calling out for mercy. Others swore that the statues moved when no one was watching. Luca Moretti, a young Italian archaeologist, had spent years studying the lost city. He did not believe in curses or ghostly whispers. He believed in history, in facts, in evidence buried beneath the earth. When he finally received permission to lead an excavation, he wasted no time setting up camp at the edge of the ruins, eager to solve the mystery of Aureliana once and for all. One crisp autumn evening, as the sun dipped below the hills, Luca ventured deeper into the ruins. His boots crunched over broken tiles and his lantern cast flickering shadows over the ancient stones. His team had already retired for the night, but he was too excited to rest. As he moved between towering pillars, he reached a section of the ruins that had barely been explored, a crumbling forum where the Senate once gathered. There he found a grand marble statue of a Roman senator, its stern face worn by centuries of wind and rain. But something was off. The base of the statue had partially collapsed, revealing what looked like the entrance to a hidden passage. Heart pounding, Luca carefully cleared away the rubble. His fingers brushed against something smooth, an engraved plaque, barely visible in the dim light. He wiped away the dust and read the Latin inscription. Beyond this gate lies the fate of Aureliana. Let no man disturb its eternal rest. Ignoring the warning, he pressed forward, stepping into the darkness below. The air grew colder as he descended a narrow staircase, the stone steps uneven beneath his feet. His lantern's flame flickered violently, struggling against an unseen force. When he reached the bottom, he found himself standing in a vast underground chamber, its walls lined with intricate carvings of Roman senators, warriors, and citizens frozen in moments of daily life. At the center of the room stood a massive stone throne, and upon it sat a man. Luca's breath caught in his throat. The figure was not a skeleton nor a statue. It was a man, perfectly preserved, his body untouched by time. His toga, though faded, still bore the golden embroidery of a high-ranking official. His eyes were open, lifeless, yet strangely aware. Luca took a cautious step forward, his fingers trembling as he traced the inscriptions on the throne's base. The words sent a chill through his bones. The city defied the gods, and so time claimed its people. Let no man disturb the silence of Aureliana. A sudden gust of wind rushed through the chamber, though there were no openings for air. The flames of his lantern stretched unnaturally high, casting eerie shadows that danced like wraiths on the walls. Then the man on the throne moved. His fingers twitched, his head tilted slightly, and then, in a voice as dry as ancient parchment, he whispered in Latin, "You should not have come." The ground trembled beneath Luca's feet. Dust cascaded from the ceiling, and distant echoes of footsteps, thousands of them, filled the chamber. He turned to flee, but the entrance had vanished, swallowed by darkness. From the carvings on the walls, figures began to emerge. The stone senators stepped forward, their hollow eyes fixed on him. The carved warriors gripped their swords, their faces frozen in expressions of fury. The citizens, once trapped in stone, now moved with the slow, deliberate grace of the undead. Luca stumbled backward, his mind racing. The people of Aureliana had not vanished. They had been cursed, turned to stone, frozen in time by divine punishment, and now he had awakened them. The whispering grew louder, Latin voices chanting in unison, a hymn of sorrow and doom. The man on the throne slowly rose, his outstretched hand pointing at Luca. The archaeologist screamed, and then the ruins of Aureliana fell silent once more. Weeks later, an expedition arrived at Luca's campsite. They found his belongings undisturbed, his notes scattered across the table. His team swore that he had gone exploring the ruins